Hi guys, I'm going to give you some help with problem 2, which is another monopoly graph, only we don't have numbers, we just have letters and symbols. So this graph is showing you a profit maximizing monopolist, and we want to assume that the monopolist is unregulated, so it gets to charge what it wants, produce what it wants. Using the labeling in the graph, identify each of the following: the monopolist quantity output, the monopolist price, and the profit earned by the monopolist, and deadweight loss. Okay, so let's jump back to our graph, and once again, we want to find where marginal cost equals marginal revenue, which is right here at point C. And then we're going to extend that up to the demand curve, so we know that we're going to produce a quantity Q1 and price, if I can get the right guy here, price P3 right here. Okay? Alright, so now what else do we have to do? We have to look at the profit earned by the monopolist. Okay, so that's going to be the area that's going to be between marginal, or not marginal, average total cost and price. So we can go right there, right? Because we're going to produce at a quantity. Actually, that's not the right one. You get the right one here. Is that the right one? That's the right one. Yeah. We're going to produce at a quantity of Q1, and our price is going to be P3. So our price, so our profit is going to be whatever revenue we can get above our average total cost right here. So that's going to be the area P1, P3, A, C. Okay, now we need to look at what's next. I forgot already. We need to look at the deadweight loss. Okay, so the deadweight loss is going to be, let's see, jump back over to our graph and figure out our deadweight loss, which is going to be whatever we could have made. See, like whatever the difference is between where the revenue, or where the monopolist is producing and pricing, and where the allocatively efficient point is, which is point F, where marginal cost equals price right here. So if they were going to produce at the allocatively efficient point, it would be point F. So the difference between their profit and where they would have produced is the deadweight loss. So that's going to be triangle ACF. Okay? Now that takes care of part A. So let's go on to part B. Now we're going to assume that the monopolist can perfectly price discriminate. And we talked about that in problem 1. Using the labeling of the graph, identify each of the following: quantity produced and total revenue received by the monopolist. Okay, so total, not profit, total revenue. Okay, so let's jump back over here. Let me get this out of the way. So where are they going to? So first of all, they're going to produce at the point where they're allocatively efficient, and they're going to charge every consumer exactly what he or she would pay all along the demand curve. So they're going to be able to charge all of these prices all along here. And then as they charge less, obviously they'll sell more, but they'll sell a few up here, and more, but they'll sell we're assuming that they're able to charge each consumer exactly what they would pay. That's called perfect price or first degree price discrimination. So they're going to have a total profit of this triangle right here. They're going to have zero consumer surplus, but what is the total revenue? Well, the total revenue is going to be this triangle right here plus this rectangle right here. So we would say the answer you'd have to say is you would define it as a P4. You would say, let me try to get this green guy, put this back. You would say P4F Q3 0, and that's total revenue, which is, don't get that confused with economic profit. This is economic profit. The total area is total revenue. Okay. What else? Okay, C. Now we're going to assume that the monopolist charges a single price and is regulated to produce the socially efficient quantity. Using the labeling of the graph, identify each of the following. Okay, so we jump back over here. So we want the quantity and the consumer surplus. Okay, so let's jump back over here. The quantity is going to be, once again, the socially optimal. I think that's how they said it. How they say it. The socially efficient, which is the same thing as allocatively efficient. So we can come back over here and say, well, that's going to be quantity of Q3. And the area, so and if they sell here, then the area that's going to represent consumer surplus now, since this is their quantity, their price is going to be P1. So we go back to the more traditional consumer surplus, which is the area above the price and below the market demand, which is just simply going to be a triangle P1, P4, F. That's how you would define it. P1, P4, F. Okay. I'm helping you out a whole lot here, but I want you to, I want you to really understand how they're going to, what kind of answers they're going to expect you to give them on this exam, and how you would figure it out. Okay. Part D. Is the monopolist facing the regulation in Part C earning a positive economic profit, earning zero economic profit, or incurring a loss? Well, if we're going to be regulated to produce right here, that means our price P1 is going to exactly equal our average total cost. So that would mean, guess what? We would have zero economic profit, because price equals average total cost. So zero. And lastly, Part E. Is the point F on our graph in the elastic, in the inelastic, or the unit elastic portion of the demand curve? Explain. So they just want you to simply look at it and say, okay, at point F, right here, if we think about this, if we go back here and we think about point F, it would be here on this graph. Okay, so at this point, marginal revenue is negative. So when marginal revenue is negative, then we are on the inelastic, like I say, inelastic portion of our demand. Also, so you can explain this two ways. You can say it's where marginal revenue is negative, or where total revenue is declining or decreasing at that point on the demand curve. So that's why we are on the inelastic. So the answer would be inelastic. And the reason would be, let me just jump back here real quick. The reason would be because at this point, marginal revenue is way negative, which means total revenue is decreasing. Okay? And I believe that's everything for problem 2. I believe we're on problem 3 now. Okay, stay tuned for problem 3.